Hello, I'm Joel Blackford with Beth Hassett Sabbath Fellowship. We are virtual only based out of St. Paul, Minnesota. The phone number works if you'd like to contact us. We solve a little piece of Revelation. This time it's going to be more Revelation 13 and 17 in terms of who the key players are as we move forward and what their goal is in terms of worship and things like that. So we do the philosophy behind the thought, not just the news. John Heller does a marvelous job on the news. Even he's overwhelmed right now with the news, okay? What you need to know, your reality, our existence, what's going on. We study a little bit more prophecy than most people, but we're studying mostly Revelation 13 and 17, although not specifically. What we're studying is CERN today, the eclipse that's coming up, these all of the preponderance of God's names. Now, not large G, small g gods, okay? And the worship thereof, the signs and the prophecies and things like that. So I thought I was done with the eclipse information. Well, no, CERN is starting up again on that day, and we'll cover that during the video. So, there's the Devil's Comet, there's the solar eclipse, there's CERN starting up again, cicadas in a 200 plus year sequence that's very interesting, the NASA launch, which doesn't seem that big. There's planetary alignments. There's the National Guard being called out. It all happens April 8th. This is a big pot of weirdness, okay? The red cows will not be sacrificed. If that's what you're watching for, no. There's no chance that's going to happen. I have friends on the inside. I know as much as anybody that's quasi in the middle like I am, and I know for sure that it will not occur shortly. Probably, I think we're a year away, minimum. Okay, and then NASA launching rockets and CERN is turning on. So it's very interesting, very busy. And then our best friend Obama is back in the news. He's campaigning for Biden, and he's also going to be doing things. I'm proposing that I think he's going to go to worship. So watch Obama on April 8th on Nissan 1. And then I'm also proposing that as the planets align, even though it's not going to cause gravitational issues, it is an Aquarius moment. There is something weird going on, and CERN is aware of that too. So remember the song from oh goodness, was it 1970 probably? Aquarius, let the sunshine in. When the moon is in the, So all 7 planets will be in the sky at the moment of the April 8th eclipse, and a comet to boot, a devil comet. So what are we doing here? We're really talking about the signs that are overwhelming now, and the news stories that are overwhelming, and also the goal of evil, which is worship in their own way, and the goal of what we should be doing, which is worshiping God. I think we should be fasting on April 8th. Okay, if you're a godly person, you should be fasting. So we try not to twist the Bible. We give you prophecy that seems to be realistic, and then the news. We try to give you the real news. We do the philosophy of the end of days. Thank you. So we're celebrating Easter today. The problem is we haven't had Passover yet, so he can't resurrect until he dies. So keep that in mind. And the name itself, it is similar to Ishtar. And we have these. The problem is with all the Marvel comics and all the other comics going on right now in the movies. Every single movie or TV show has to do with some kind of a supernatural god of some sort. Small g again. Okay, so Exodus 13 covers it very, very well. For 6 days you are to work, but on the 7th day you are to rest. That's Sabbath, that's yesterday. That your ox and donkey can rest, and your slave girl's son and the foreigner, all of them may be renewed. Pay attention to everything I have said to you. Do not invoke the names of other gods, or even let them be heard crossing your lips. So remind me during the video that I should spell them out, but don't say their names. 3 times a year you are to observe a festival for me. So that would be Passover and Shavuot, which comes up in about 50 days after his resurrection, and then also Sukkot in the fall. So these things are eternal. You will notice, as Daniel talked about, the Moed, Moedim, and then the Chag. Oh goodness, Hatzi, I think it is, the half point. So basically what he's saying is, Daniel is telling you that the Moedim will be critical, and Revelation 12 covers it too, that these Moedim, these festivals, they're God's festivals, not man's, not Jewish. They will be more important, and Easter will diminish because it's based off the vernal equinox and the first Sunday after that, and it has nothing to do with the Bible. It has to do with hating Jews. So what's coming up? Nissan 1, which is going to be a huge day. What time is it? It is April 8th, Nissan 1. That is the day that Moses would set up the tabernacle, but it's also when Aleister Crowley would be worshiping in 1904 and listening to some kind of a strange demonic god telling his wife Rose about their law, their book of the law. He's kind of like the Moses of the evil sorts. And we've got the eclipses that match up with an Aleph rather, over the United States, and then as a Tav from 2017 to 2024. So it's very, very interesting how it's been 120 years since Aleister Crowley and his book and his seances and things like that. And now at 120, that's Genesis 6:3. That's how many years God allows man to live. So it's very interesting. Okay, there might be a 3 days of darkness at some point in time, so keep that in mind. And Texas is telling people to stock up on supplies because there could be some power outages and other issues. So keep that in mind. I'm monitoring that in terms of 3 days of darkness, but I've got 3, 4 good sources, scientific sources, that are telling me that 3 days of darkness is possible at some point in time. The billionaires are building their bunkers. You know about that. We've got fault lines that seem to be more apparent than we realized. So there's a 1,700-mile crack across America that was discovered in 1981. And then it seems to cross over this area, the New Madrid fault line, which happens to be where the cicadas will be popping up. It's just so many bits of information that we're finding. And then, and continuing on with the news here, heavy vehicle loads not permitted in these counties during the eclipse. Why would that be? Why would Texas say trucks aren't allowed out on the roads on April 8th? What's going on with this? So no trucks. Schools are going to be closed. The ones in the path of the total eclipse will cancel their classes over safety concerns. Why is that? We've been watching eclipses for hundreds and thousands of years, so why suddenly can't the kiddies, safely view the eclipse? I don't get that. So so here's the warning. This is from All News Pipeline, not one of my favorite sources, but basically they're correct with this report. 4 states have urged residents to stock up on groceries and gas before they go into this. Texas, Oklahoma, Ohio, Indiana, stock up, because there could be some issues afterwards. And I'll give you the reasons for Texas in a second here, but here's the other one. Click to Houston on this side says, why has the National Guard been deployed to Texas for the upcoming solar eclipse? TikTok user explains, yeah, it's just very, very weird that they're calling out the National Guard. Then this is News Talk 1290 AM. Thousands of acres in Texas were destroyed of a solar farm were destroyed by hail back on March 16th, okay? And so those panels are down, and now with the eclipse, there's no sunlight getting through. So they know that the April 8th solar eclipse would impact power because they're so devoted to solar panels, which hail. Guys, if I explained Revelation chapter 8 to you and all the hail, the increasing hail and natural disasters coming through, you would never build another solar panel, or you would figure out a way to cleverly hide them when the storms come through. You would never want them out during a hailstorm. Oh my. Okay, so basically Texas is going to lose about 16% of their daily irradiance and or solar energy, and so it'll make it volatile for energy prices, and so businesses are going to have to close that day. So it's going to be interesting. So broken panels, no sun, no solar power. Yeah. Okay, now we're getting into some of the names involved. I'll spell it to you, Enlil. Doug Hamp, my friend, talks about this all the time, that this was a Babylonian god. He was the king of the gods, and that's what our, our Solar Wind Prediction Center from NASA uses this. So every day I have to look at this particular name, and I know he's one of the ancient gods, and he's the king of the gods, and he may be Satan. I don't know. I mean, according to Doug, he is. So yeah, this is the 3D projector wind prediction system, and oh my goodness. Everything is based on a god of some sort. So then ZEUS, okay, it's 3D again. And so this is another prediction system. What this does is it's an overview of its design capabilities and recent improvements for comprehensive, what is it here? Oh, astrophysical applications. So it's built on, what is it, Cobalt Fortran, I think it is, yeah. And so it's basically a simulation of the model when the coronas are ejecting from the sun. It simulates it, but then we have to read this name again, okay? And every university wants to buy into this system, so St. Mary's is involved in it. So for astrophysical applications, there you go. ZEUS is involved in it. Continuing on, I mentioned Aleister Crowley before, and this Thelema Society, I think it's pronounced, and so he he didn't predict this, but he had an interaction. His wife Rose did, okay, and the demon was called Aiwass. And once again, I'm not going to say the name, but dictated Crowley's Book of the Law, and so Led Zeppelin cited this, and Jimmy Page is involved in this. And so I'm telling you that the rock stars are involved in this activity. They've been supporting this for years. And so, yeah, 1904. And so they will be celebrating April 8th through the 10th. And love is the law, love under will. What does that mean? Okay. And why does this guy look like an alien, a little green alien? So just keep that in mind. One more weird sign coming up with these demonic names, okay? And then we've got a devil comet showing up. It doesn't necessarily have a devil name because it's 12P Pons Brooks, but NASA's sending up something, spaceships to be able to observe it, and they'll be using another god's name for that too. The cicadas. Why do they remind us when they pop out on April 8th that this is reminiscent of the 8th plague of Egypt? Okay? Surge in cicadas expected this spring. So it's once per 221 years. Mating frenzy in weeks. It last happened to the founding fathers. Yeah, it's that old of a situation. So that is from the U.S. Sun. Okay, continuing on. The planets. Okay, I'm friendly enough with Ben Davidson. I love him dearly. He rebukes me frequently, when I go too far, but he's a good guy. Okay, and I cited how the planets were aligned like this, and he said, Joel, not actually an alignment when you realize how different their orbital distances are. So you can't just look at it and say, oh, yeah, they're all right next to each other and they're going to, the moon influences our waves, why am I blanking on the tides? The moon influences that, and the moon is not even a planet, okay? It's rather tiny, but it does influence our waves and our tides. So bottom line is there might be something from this. If the planets were aligned properly, you would notice extra earthquakes. I don't know so, but I can say that based on Alaska in 1964 and based on the earthquake over, the solar eclipse over the New Madrid fault line in 1811, that about a year after these eclipses, the total path area, you will have an earthquake usually, and a nasty one, especially Alaska in 1864 and the New Madrid fault line in 1911, 1912. So keep that in mind. So then we have to add one more thing on this. It's always something, okay? And CERN is being reactivated on April 8th, the same day of the infamous eclipse. Supposedly, the particle collider can accelerate protons to a rate that's only 7 miles per hour slower than the speed of light, resulting in 11,000 trips around its ring per second. After CERN started its Awake experiment in 2016, it kind of closed down after that. But every time it pops on, weird things it seems to open portals in the sky where photos are taken near the facility revealed strange electromagnetic storms above it. So yeah, it's just weird. And so CERN is doing this. So this is clipped from Jim. Oh goodness, why am I blanking on Jim's last name? He is a Sabbath keeper. He went to prison for a period of time, but he's really just quoting from somebody else. So a large portion of CERN is located in the territory of San Genis Poli. In Roman times, it was called, yeah, okay, Apollo, okay, and the town and the temple were dedicated to Apollyon, which is from the Bible, the destroyer. And it's also Shiva or Hurus. Okay, so yeah, so it's located in this city, and it seems like Caesar built a city and a temple to Apollo in 45 to 55 CE. Okay, and it's just very odd, and that it's really a gateway to the underworld up there in this Swiss town. So I'll read Revelation 9. The fifth angel sounded his shofar, and I saw a star had fallen out of the heaven onto the earth, and he was given the key to the shaft leading down to the abyss. He opened the shaft of the abyss, and there went up smoke from the shaft like the smoke of the huge furnace. The sun was darkened, and the sky too, by the smoke of the shaft. They had as king over them the angel of the abyss, and in the Hebrew tongue it is Abaddon, and in our language, destroyer, which would be Apollyon. There you go. Okay, so that's Revelation 9, 1 through 2 and 11. One more sign that's another demonic name being invoked. Okay, and there's a worship thereof. I'll show you the slide in a second. So why is CERN being activated? And I already read that one to you. I'm sorry. This is from a CERN scientist, Sergio Bertolucci. Out of the door might come something, or we might send something through it. Okay, that's from 2009. So the restart of the Hadron Collider, this is from 2022, and they knew that it would restart, and it just shows a picture of it. And then the most important quotes, this is from Nick Heff, and slowly at CERN in Geneva, the Large Hadron Collider Particle Accelerator is coming out of its regular hibernation again. Progress can be followed live on the CERN web page, and the first collisions of proton beams are expected on April 8th during the eclipse. Go figure, okay? Then on the right-hand side, this is from, goodness gracious, I hope I quoted it, but it's Randy Stierenberg. And accelerator report, the accelerator complex gears up for action after the yearly winter maintenance break. Okay, so let's see here. The symbolic key to resume LHC operations will be handed over to the ACE Accelerator Coordination and Engineering Group in the engineering department to operations group on Friday, the 16th of February, kicking off the 2024 particle season. Wow. Okay, so this is what's coming up, and it's April 8th. Okay, and we've already seen worship. So once again, speaking these gods' names, small g, and worshiping in strange ways, where they've got, you know, oh, I'm covering too many topics and forgetting little things that are important. Azazel, like goat boy type creatures and things like that. Worship, God's names, sexuality, naked bodies, things like that. Just really, really decadent. Goat boy, sex magic in Switzerland. There you go. So once again, Yom Kippur's Azazel would be proud. And you see the Azazel upper left-hand side. This is from Russia Today. And then you see that goat boy look there, and the Satanists in Detroit imitated that too. At CERN, you have the goddess Kali. I'm sorry, I said that. I shouldn't be saying that. Once again, you have the moon aligns with 3 of the planets during that time frame. Once again, the 5th dimension, Aquarius. I mean, it's all batching up in one brewed cup of junk. Okay, so once again, Shiva statue, sorry I said it, at CERN in Switzerland, the great destroyer destined to annihilate the cosmos at the end of time, then reborn as part of the endless cycle of death and rebirth. Okay, Shiva. Carl Sagan had a comment about it, and he called it a cosmic dance of subatomic particles, because they hate God. They hate God. Yeah, what a wonderful tribute to a lab trying to find the origins of the universe. Ugh. Okay, so you've got the Lord Shiva statue at CERN in Switzerland. One more sign, one more demonic name being spoken. Okay, NASA is going to launch Apophis, the rockets, 3 of them, up towards the eclipse to monitor it. Monitoring it is fine. It's a very interesting event. It's an electrical event. But why do you have to call the rockets Apophis. Why? Why? So they're going to study the electrical field around the Earth, and they'll be launching sounding rockets just before, during, and after to better understand our planet. Fine. Ben Ben Davidson rebuked me over this because he said not everything's a conspiracy, but the names. So what is? There's a never-ending battle between the god Ra and the indestructible Apophis in ancient Egyptian beliefs. Okay, so this has been. He's a serpent god. You know, why do you have to name everything after a small g god? Okay, why? Why? All right, continuing on. This is from the same god, Apophis. Okay, NASA is citing this. This is their study here. The second round of these particular launches are scheduled for the total eclipse, April 8th, from Wallops Island, Virginia. Okay, the rockets aim to collect data to answer the following scientific questions: does the eclipse shadow directly seed discernible irregularities in the mid-latitude ionosphere? Sounds wonderful. Go for it. See, but name it something different, okay? So once again, this particular god, what does it mean? It's part of Egyptian mythology. It's a serpent and the enemy of Ra, the sun god. I'm sorry I said that, but you know who the sun god is. And in Hebrew, Ra would be really evil. Okay, so the great serpent, the enemy of that sun god, and that he would seek to kill Ra and prevent sunrise. Oh boy, from world history. Thank you. So continuing on, an overview, a list of all of these things. You know, so we've got this. NASA will shoot the 3 missiles to study it, and naming it after the god that attacks the sun god. Okay, CERN, built on Apoll's temple, and unveils Shiva, the god of destruction. Their NASA's wind news is Enlil, which is the Babylonian leader of the gods, and yeah. Then ZEUS is a 3D astrophysical app that we have to check out every day. And then we have the Aleister Crowley people that are worshiping Aiwass, the Egyptian god, because it's their 120th year anniversary. Obama will be returning to the stage. The planets will align. You have Ishtar involved. There are not going to be red cows sacrificed. I guarantee that. Another year. I want you to see this in context of what's going on. This is from Deuteronomy 28:43. Foreigners who live in your land will gain more and more power while you gradually lose yours because you're so involved with the gods. They will have money to lend to you, but you will have none to lend to them in the end, they will be your rulers. And the problem is we're not going the right direction, people. Okay, we've got anti-Semitism, we've got ethnic fights, we've got the 2024 elections, we've got political battles. This is from Mark Biltz. Iran, Israel, all the fights, all the everything. The Jews need to move back home because it's so dangerous right now. And continuing on, I want to explain to you that I think what you're coming into, the prophetic side of this video, is that you're going to see more demonic people. Like this is J.D. Farag back a few weeks ago, on March 24th. Demonic woman out of control, doesn't want the truth heard. Sure, fine. But Wicca's involved in it. You can see the lady holding the bunny and the eggs, and you know that stands for Ishtar. And that's where America is going. We need to get back to God. And so JD cast out the particular demon, but you'll see more of this in the future. And keep in mind, you know, everybody that loves this guy should, because, you know, he's Derek Prince and he was a good evangelist. But the problem was when he was casting out demons one time, he cast out a bunch of demons and he was writing down things about them. And he remembered one: no pork, no bacon. And the problem is he's saying, well, you know, that it's good to eat pork and bacon, he would say. But the problem is the Bible says don't eat them. And so he's literally taking the words of the demon over the Bible because he's predisposed to believe that pork and bacon are good. And so the Spirit expressly states that in the Acharith HaYomim, which is the end days, some people will apostatize from the faith by paying attention to deceiving spirits and things taught by demons. I'm telling you, he was taught by a demon, and he shouldn't have been interacting with the demon. He should have just gotten the name, rebuked it, cast it out. That's it. That's all you do. Well, the pig is unclean for you because although it has a separate and completely divided hoof, it does not chew the cud. You are not to eat the meat from these or touch their carcasses. They are unclean for you. That's Deuteronomy 11, 7 through 8. And so he should not have done what he did. And so sly pig demons, there you go. That's what they are. So once again, more worship going on. As I mentioned, the people that are involved with the Book of the Law, which is the Thelema Society, Aleister Crowley and his wife Rose, the medium, that this is their 120th year anniversary. And I'm arguing that somehow, some way, that people will be returning to Satan's throne in Berlin, Germany, and worshiping, and that is Revelation 2:13. And so I'm arguing that this worship will be more important as we get closer. We're not going in this year, to the best of my knowledge, but their worship will pick it up a notch because Satan's time is running so short. And watch Obama. Does he go to Europe on Sunday, Monday, and quietly attend a ceremony in Berlin? We'll see. So the U.S. abstains from a vote on Israel, and then the next day, the Francis Scott Key Bridge disaster occurs. We've seen this before. Bill Koenig has written on this for many, many years. I can't remember Eye to Eye is the name of his book. Bill Koenig's a great author, great guy, believer similar to us. And the UN Security Council demands immediate Gaza ceasefire after U.S. abstains. That's on the 24th. And then on the 25th, we have maybe a navigational warfare cyber attack, maybe, maybe not. But we have the Francis Scott Key Bridge disaster occurring that next day. And so it was just something to watch, you know. Very, very interesting how these things are occurring. Then continuing on, as I mentioned before, I'm very close friends with Adam Eliyahu Berkowitz. I'm very close friends with many other people that would be connected with this, and they're telling me absolutely, positively, there will not be a sacrifice in the near future here. I would guess a year or longer away, and you would see many other things occur, and you would just know this is going to occur when it finally will occur, but not now. It would be a surprise. Even my own favorite rabbi, who I know very closely, did not know about this, and he would know. If something was going to occur like this, you'd have to get some buy-in across from all rabbis, or you'd have to have the two witnesses here. So keep in mind, according to Adam Eliyahu Berkowitz, everybody who's telling you that the red heifer will be sacrificed soon is lying. He was at the Red Heifer Conference in Shiloh on Wednesday, and you would have to speak fluent Hebrew to be able to attend the meeting because everybody spoke Hebrew there. So just keep that in mind. It's four numbers, 19. It is for purification. It has to occur before we go in, but it is not going to happen. So anybody that's telling you otherwise is lying. Where are we? We're in the birth pangs. I'm the SEALs guy, but I'm purposely not talking about the SEALs much lately, just because there's so many other things going on. And so I believe we're in the fourth SEAL. I had a friend ask me yesterday saying, well, aren't we in the sixth SEAL because you talk about it? No, we're not. We're not into that. We're just watching for signs of it. That's about it. We seem to be in the third SEAL, definitely, and I think we're in the fourth. I have no actual proof of that. But the third seal is inflation. Oh, inflation is horrible. Live in Canada for 5 minutes. See how long you survive. So the tribulation would come afterwards. We would know when we go into the tribulation. I'm arguing that they'll be worshiping, especially at the midpoint of the Great Tribulation, of the that 3.5 year, then the break. That's the midpoint. That's going to be when the two witnesses would die and leave and be caught back up to heaven. So just watch worship as we move forward. You need to work on you, which is getting your garments clean. You can't be naked. It's a wedding. It'll occur on Rosh Hashanah or at the end of Yom Kippur or during the Sukkot, during some year in the future. You need clean garments. You can't be naked again. It's a wedding. Get ready for the wedding, people. Okay? So thank you very much for your time. Be blessed. And we'll talk again, hopefully in about a week and a half here after the eclipse. Well, I don't know if I'll record this